Beautifully, your pond, your refuge. The first time koi swam across the mirrored surface, it felt like a dream. The world quieted. The water was alive, and so were you. But somewhere along the way, the pond began to change. At first, it was just a hum, then wires, then bulky filter boxes, then the endless cycle of clearing sponges, fixing hoses, replacing bulbs. Soon the pond no longer served you, you served it. You didn't notice it happening. It was subtle, quiet, like a koi sinking to the bottom when something feels wrong. The equipment works. That's the trick. It clears debris, keeps water from turning green. But it also vibrates through the liner, creating a tension the fish can't explain. You notice them hovering near corners, avoiding the pump. You tell yourself the water is clean, but the koi seem unsure. And maintenance never ends. Gloves on, mats out, buckets filled with gunk. The more parts you have, the more chances something fails. One overlooked impeller, one dying UV bulb, and suddenly the pond is cloudy, the balance broken. Then there's the power. You didn't plan for that. 100 watts, 150 watts. All day, all night. Add the UV, add the backup air, and you're paying a monthly tax just to keep your peace machine running. Except, it's not peaceful anymore, is it? The truth is hard to admit. The koi pond you dreamed of, tranquil, simple, spiritual, was slowly overtaken by noise. Not just sound, but complexity. But there is another path. A system so quiet, it can't be heard. So elegant, it moves water without pushing it. Not mechanical force, but air. It doesn't demand attention. It doesn't hum. It just lifts. And once you see it working, you won't understand why no one told you sooner. Chapter 2. The Science of Simplicity. How Air Lifts Life. There's nothing complicated about it. Air goes up and water follows. That's the core of the airlift system. While traditional pond pumps push water with motors, pressure, and propellers, the airlift uses something far simpler: buoyancy. A quiet, clean burst of air enters a vertical pipe near the pond floor. As it rises, it pulls surrounding water along with it, creating smooth, upward movement with no spinning parts. The beauty is in what's missing. No impellers to clog. No shafts to corrode. No underwater motors radiating vibration through the liner. Just a pipe, a diffuser, and air. The result: continuous water circulation with minimal energy and maximum peace. The lifted water travels through filter chambers, where beneficial bacteria get what they need most: oxygen. Because airlift doesn't just move water, it oxygenates it. That one difference powers the entire ecosystem. Better biological filtration, healthier koi, clearer water, less stress for both fish and owner. You won't hear the airlift system running. There's no buzz, no grinding, no sudden surges. But if you sit by your pond, you'll see the signs: koi swimming more freely, currents flowing more evenly, waste settling where it belongs. This is not just an alternative method. It's a return to the fundamentals. When air moves water, it does so the way nature intended, not with force, but with invitation. And once you witness it, you'll never want to go back. Chapter 3. What the koi whisper beneath the water. If the koi could speak, they would not use words. They would speak with motion, with stillness, with breath. In the beginning, they endured. They moved quickly, not out of joy, but out of necessity. Pumps spat water at them like wind through a tunnel. Filters roared just below the surface. Every inch of their world vibrated with tension. And so they adapted. They hid. They stayed low. They waited. Then one day, everything softened. The current shifted, not forceful, but rising. The vibration faded. A new rhythm emerged, one that felt familiar. Ancient, like the slow breath of a deep stream. The koi moved again, not to escape, but to explore. This is what happens when an airlift system replaces pressure. The water becomes their partner, not their opponent. Oxygen flows freely, not in bursts. The temperature stabilizes. Waste settles without being scattered. And most importantly, their bodies relax. Their fins stretch wide. They hover in place without resistance. Their color deepens. Their movement becomes a language. In this balance, their true behavior returns. They begin to play with the flow. They move together, like a school painting circles beneath the sun. They rise for food not because they're hungry, but because they trust. Their eyes follow you. Their gestures change. And you, watching from above, begin to realize they feel everything. The koi are no longer surviving. They are dancing. Chapter 4. The day the pond gave you back your time. You didn't notice it at first. The shift was slow, like the way a pond surface clears after a storm. One day, you realized the gloves were still dry. The filter mat was still clean. The air pump was still humming gently, but nothing was screaming for your attention. And then it hit you. The pond no longer interrupts your life. Before the airlift, it was always something. A clogged intake, a foaming surface, a sudden drop in flow. Every week demanded a checklist: scrub, rinse, restart. You told yourself it was part of the hobby. That koi ponds were just high maintenance. But now, you're not managing equipment. You're present with your pond. The airlift doesn't ask for much. A simple pump, a single line, a quiet lift. No blades, no back pressure, no complex fittings. It moves water like breath, slow, deep, natural. And in return, your filter runs longer. Your water stays clearer. Your koi stay healthier. And you stay grounded. There's something profound in that silence. No buzz behind your chair. No filter rumble under the surface. Just stillness. The sound of koi feeding, wind in bamboo, a bird calling nearby. You begin to feel what you once only imagined when you first dug that hole in your yard. The pond becomes yours again, not as a task, but as a presence. And you realize, the less you intervene, the more the pond responds. The more you let go, the more alive it becomes. Chapter 5, Quiet Power, Real Savings. Why Airlift just makes sense. You didn't build your pond to feed a machine. But somewhere along the way, that's what happened. Your koi need clean water, so you installed a pump. Then a UV. Then multiple chambers. Then a backup. Soon, your backyard sanctuary became a small power station. You saw it on the meter. You felt it in your wallet. And you asked yourself, is this really necessary? With the airlift system, the answer is finally no. Instead of consuming 100 to 200 watts continuously, an airlift runs on a fraction of that, sometimes just 15 watts. That's less than a light bulb. And it runs cooler, quieter, and longer. There's no impeller to seize. No sealed motor to overheat. No constant electricity draw to fear every month. It's not just about money, it's about peace. You no longer have to worry about system failures when you're away. No power surges frying your pump. No sneaky noise building up over time. The airlift hums so gently you forget it's on. But your koi know. Your water shows it. And then, something shifts in you. You stop buying as many replacement parts. You stop hauling old equipment to the curb. You start looking at your pond not just as a feature, but as a partner in sustainability. You begin to feel proud not only of how it looks, but of how little it takes. It's not just efficient. It's enough. Chapter 6. The day I stopped fixing and started listening. I used to be obsessed with fixing things. Every day, I'd check the pump, listen for strange sounds, watch the filter outflow for weakness. I knew the water stats better than my heartbeat. When something felt off, I tightened valves, rinsed pads, adjusted flow. I was proud of being hands-on, but the koi didn't seem impressed. They hid more than they swam. The water was clear, but never calm. Then I discovered the airlift system. At first, it felt too quiet. Was it working? There was no roar, no vibration, no visible current. But the water kept moving, smoothly, consistently. And the koi noticed before I did. They came closer, stayed longer at the surface. Their movements slowed, not from weakness, but from comfort. They began to glide, not react. The pond, somehow, had space again. And I had time. Time to sit. Time to breathe. Time to just be there. I realized I hadn't watched the koi in weeks, really watched. I was always cleaning, adjusting, testing. But now, the silence invited me back in. The airlift system didn't just change my pond. It changed me. It taught me that peace doesn't require effort. That clarity comes not from control, but from trust. That sometimes the best thing we can do for life, any life, is to stop trying to manage it and simply let it flow. So now I don't fix. I listen. To the water, to the fish, and sometimes to myself.